My name is Mariela Dreyfus and I'm a faculty at the MFA in Creative Writing in Spanish. Tonight we are presenting the first event of the poetry series, which is curated by my colleague and friend Lila Zemborain. She cannot be here tonight, but this poetry series has been going on for at least 15 years, and tonight we have the Duckling Presse committee presenting their brand new releases, and I am going to let Silvina Lopez Medin present all of them. Thank you again and have fun.
I'm very happy, especially happy to see that tonight there are people who speak English and people who speak Spanish, which is quite unusual, and here at least. And so I'm glad about that, and I wish it keeps going this way. So I'm going to allow myself to speak some Spanish and some English, and hopefully something will come out of that. So now I'm going to speak a bit of Spanish. Bueno, muchas gracias a todos de nuevo. Vamos a presentar esta noche algunos libros de Latinoamérica que acaban de salir en Duckling Presse, que salieron hace un tiempito. El de Marosa di Giorgio y el de Arnaldo Calveyra pertenecen a la serie Lost Series, y después Rebeca va a presentar a la serie Señal de poesía contemporánea de Latinoamérica, donde van a leer Hilary Kaplan y Soledad Marambio. Y voy a decir brevemente biografías primero de Marosa di Giorgio, por más que a lo mejor la mayoría ya la conoce. Okay. And this I'm going to say in English. Born in Salto, Uruguay, and raised on her family's farm, Marosa di Giorgio, 1932-2004, is one of the most prominent Uruguayan poets of the 20th century. Di Giorgio began writing in her childhood and published her first book of poems at the age of 22. She then went on to publish a total of 14 books of poetry. I Remember Nightfall, which is the book we are presenting tonight, is the first comprehensive collection of Marosa's work to be published in English translation, and is made up of her first 4 book-length poems: The History of Violets, Magnolia, The War of the Orchards, and The Native Garden is in Flames. Jeannine Pitas, who we have the pleasure to have here, is a writer, teacher, and Spanish-English literary translator currently living in Dubuque, Iowa. Sorry.
I like that pronunciation.
Where she teaches at the University of Dubuque. She is the author of 2 poetry chapbooks and the translator of several Uruguayan poets. She has published translations of Marosa di Giorgio's work, The History of Violets, and I Remember Nightfall, both in UDP, and her own first full-length poetry collection, Things Seen and Unseen, is forthcoming from Quattro Books. So thank you, Jenny, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, Dubuque, I like that much better than Dubuque. And this will infuriate everyone. There's a county not far from where I live in Iowa called Buena Vista, but the people pronounce it Buena Vista. So, yeah, just one little correction. These are not Marosa di Giorgio's first books. It actually is her 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So it's from the middle of her career, not the very beginning. Las margaritas abarcaron todo el jardín. Primero fueron como un arroz dorado, luego se abrían de verdad. Eran como pájaros deformes, circulares, de muchas alas en torno a una sola cabeza de oro o de plata. Las margaritas doradas y plateadas quemaron todo el jardín. Su penetrante perfume a uvas nos inundó. El penetrante perfume a uvas, a higo, a miel, de las margaritas, quemó toda la casa. Por ellas nos volvíamos audaces, como locos, como ebrios. E íbamos a través de toda la noche, del alba, de la mañana, por el día, cometiendo el más hermoso de los pecados sin cesar. The daisies embraced the whole garden. First they looked like golden rice, then when they really opened, they were like deformed circular birds with a single golden or silver head, surrounded by so many wings. The golden and silver daisies burned the whole garden. Its piercing perfume of grapes flooded over us, the piercing perfume of grapes, figs, honey, daisies set the whole house aflame. Because of them we were emboldened, like the insane, like drunks. And so we went on through the whole night, the dawn, the next morning and through the day, committing over and over again the loveliest of sins. I remember the white creased cabbages, white roses of the earth, of the gardens, cabbages of marble, of most delicate porcelain, cabbages holding their children inside, and the tall blue chards, and the tomato, kidney of rubies, and the onions wrapped in silky paper, rolling paper, like bombs of sugar, salt, alcohol, and the gnome asparagus, turrets of the kingdom of the gnomes. I remember the potatoes, and the tulip we always planted among them, and the snakes with their long orange wings, and the tobacco of the fireflies who smoked without ceasing. I remember eternity. Yes, you can laugh. Di Giorgio's funny. It's okay. I'm going to jump over that log lying in the water, over to that other land. Now that bunches of roses are falling over the grass, the trees, and great golden purple light shines on everything, I'm going over there, to the place where those ancestors traveled years ago, carrying their children. And now, I wonder, are they like me, so tall and bitter? To the place where my grandmother went long ago, the place she doesn't want to come back from. Sometimes I see her, rising at dawn from among the flowers, running behind the wild hens, the poppies that run while opening their tiny red wings, helping the herons comb their braids tight and drooping. But she does not even look at me. And now that it's autumn and no one knows, I'm going to make that leap off down the narrow path. I'm going to visit the other land. Last night, it came back again, the shadow. Even though 100 years had passed, we recognized it immediately. It floated past the garden of violets, the bedroom, the kitchen. It circled around the syrup jars, the plates white as bones, the syrup jars that smelled like roses. It went back to the bedroom, interrupted lovemaking, embraces. Those who were awake lay with fixed eyes. Those who were sleeping still saw it. The mirror in which it either saw itself or didn't see itself collapsed and shattered. It seemed like it wanted to kill someone. But then it floated out to the garden. It was spinning, digging in the same spot, as if there were a corpse buried beneath. The poor cow, grazing close to the violets, went crazy. She groaned like a woman or like a wolf. But the shadow took off flying, off toward the south. It will return within a century. One night, I woke up seated in my bed, frozen in that house where so long ago they'd abandoned me. And he was already coming in through 3 windows at once, his triple presence. I saw his cloak like a tail, a wing, his desolate expression. My little face froze. I thought about putting some spell on him, exorcising him. Perhaps some childish sound, some cry would bring him to a halt. I gathered my memories, white dishes, white sheets, oregano, violets. Perhaps I could pretend I was older and fight him. But there he was, upright like 3 horses, immobile and impatient in his 3 places. Sometimes at dawn, it rained sweetly, and it seemed that a swarm was falling down from the sky, that the dead were returning to life, that all was well. I leaned out the window, and in the half-light the leaves were already crimson and yellow, light and fragrant like grapes or poppies. And among the tall trees, the monks in their huts, small among the branches. Ours came out to look at the rain, the lightning, to take notes in his weather notebook, the monk with the longest antlers and silky tresses. And I went back to bed, to fall asleep on my white pillow, to dream that Mario was there. I returned to my ancient, hidden world in flames. Ayer conocí el nombre secreto de mi casa. Era ya el atardecer, y todos paseaban por la huerta, el jardín, la calleja, donde las coliflores levantaban sus hermosas puntas y tazas de plata. Ya ardía alguna estrella, algún cometa y su cabello fatídico. Entonces tomé la lámpara, la más pequeña, y fui en puntas de pie hasta el armario. Busqué el libro sigilosamente, pasé hoja por hoja, hasta que todo empezó a temblar como si estuviera por llegar la muerte, y todo se quedó inmóvil como si ya hubiese llegado. Y yo la vi, no la rosa encarnada que estás imaginando, ni rosa, ni amarilla, ni una efectista rosa negra, solo un pimpollo plano y claro, de pocos pétalos. Parece de agua, una gema de mármol, parece un lirio, pero rosa es el nombre secreto de mi raza. La tarde caía como si fuera un siglo. Yesterday I learned the secret name of my house. It was already dusk, and everyone was out walking through the orchard, the garden, the alleyway where the cauliflowers lifted their beautiful silver tips and cups. One star was already burning, some comet with fateful hair. Then I took the lamp, the smallest, and walked on tiptoe toward the wardrobe. I looked for the book, discreetly turned page after page, until each began to tremble as though death were about to come, and all were immobile, as though it already had. And I saw it, not the incarnate rose that you're imagining, neither pink nor yellow, nor a showy black rose, only a clear, simple bud with few petals. It looks like water, a marble gem. It looks like a lily, but Rose is the secret name of my race. The night fell like a century. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Now we are going to listen to Elizabeth Zuba reading Arnaldo Calveyra. Arnaldo Calveyra, 1929-2015, was an Argentine poet, novelist, and playwright. Cartas para que la alegría, Letters so that happiness was his first book. Julio Cortázar, Carlo Mastronardi, and Victoria Ocampo were early champions of his work. In 1961, Calveyra accepted a research fellowship in Paris, where he would meet his wife Monique too, and remain for the rest of his life. an exile that was both sweet and bitter in accordance with Argentina's political landscape. The author of over 25 works of literature and theater, Calveyra was the recipient of numerous honors in his lifetime, including France's highest award for contributions to the arts, Commandeur des Arts de Lettres, in 1999. And Letters So That Happiness, which you can find outside with the other books, is the first of his works to be translated and published in English. So Elizabeth Zuba is a poet and translator. Her recent translations include, Marcel Brothers, Pansebet, I should have asked you about the pronunciation, 10,000 francs reward, While Reading the Lorelei, for exhibition MoMA 2016, Marcel Brothers, my old book, Shadow Theater Midnight, CWS Presse, with Maria Dillison. Nicolas Paris Leaves a Trace for the Baulis, Anouk Durand's Eternal Friendship, CWS Presse, 2017 French Voices Award, and now with Duckling Presse, Letters So That Happiness, and also the writings of Eric Satie, Francis Picabe, and other contributors to Dada magazine, The Blind Man, also coming from, published by Duckling Presse. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being here.
The journey, we brought it along the best we could. Of all the alfalfa butterflies that followed from Mansilla, it was the last one that lingered at Desviocles. We took that stretch together, she with flying and me with a gaze. She came with wings of goodbye yellow, and with so much beating against the air she ceased gladdening, butterfly, and burned a fountain. And still she ran with her wings to shake off the wreckage, a second gaze burning parallel to the I just can't anymore from the side of the train that followed. The chicken you gave me, I shared it with Rosa. She gave me sweetbread. By train is almost like going by donkey. The guys playing guitar when you saw me off played happily to Buenos Aires. Just before noon, the guard came through with a saunter of things are really going to start happening around here, and everyone had to hide in alive, innocent before God, parrots or chickens they were feeding. On the ferry, it was beautiful looking out at the water. And you know, I didn't know I was sad until they asked me to sing. La casita se ha convertido en algo cerca del mar, un olor que penetraba desde temprano por las madrigueras, el seguro del viento, de las más altas ramas de todo, su ajetreo de venir de un agua, es decir, el cambio de la ola en viento cuando ya no pueden más que esos pocos metros sobre la playa. Y ahora que es de noche, estoy contento de parecerme al mar, y caigo también sobre la hoja con este hermoso destino de continuar ese mar y este viento y tocar el poblado allá en la guardia inquietada de los álamos. The house has turned into something near the sea, the smell that slipped early through the wooden slats, the wind's latch, and the highest branches of all, the bustle of coming from water, that is the change from wave to wind when it just can't much more those few meters of beach. And now that it's night, I'm happy to be like the sea, and fall too over leaf with this beautiful charge of continuing that sea and this wind, and touching the village over there, past the restless poplar guards. I dreamed about the storm-colored house. I was there with myself one morning in 1943. The balcony pooled at the windows, waiting for everything. I was barefoot, with a light that tickled at me, so I would run from it, and the sun wasn't on the tiles anymore, but always already in the double-banked river, me on the one side, on the shaded side. If you looked it in the eyes, our voices thundered toward the radiance of oars in the blue passing. And then on the patio again, blowing up instantly orange, pelting hard over leapfrog, and the late orquesta, like the king's soul in Hamlet urging in hac signo vinces, and its sparrowed reply. I would have wanted that little light passing by at eye level, but someone muttered you'd have to light it just the same, and lifted my head from the water headboard and danced with the loneliness of the Jacaranda Island. You have to love a lot, said the branch. And this, I said, and all I could do was wake up. It was the branch with the light. Kikiriki, grita una hierba entre los dos pulgares. Mira hasta que lejos el yuyal se encresta. No es el aire que pasaba, no. Ni el andador de loma que se ensaya sola a no voltear a los niños. Y la caña loca por la música al seguido de la perdiz que le contestan. Cómo se esconden en el eco de vueltas se dislocan, suben. Mira hasta que arriba en la veleta la cresta colorada de Kikiriki. Cockle-doodle-doo whips blade of grass between two thumbs. Look how far out the high weeds crest. It isn't the air that winded, no, or the hill walker practicing not flipping the children over. And the music crazy reeds and the partridges whistle that answers back how they hide and then dislocate and rise in the return echo. Look, the red crest of the cockle-doodle-doo way up in the weather vane. The balloon they brought us from Buenos Aires, what a shame it left. So much that the night before we prepared the ascent string with as much ribbon as we could find, dead or alive, to make it a blue kite for the morning again. It veered with the patio toward the side of the orange tree, gave its all through the air and brooked the light. Did it go up? It veered to the south, where the reeds thin out and the chickens startled themselves, all by themselves. We saw the all it gave, its will to both stay and rise, an absurdity of sheer posing after blue nodding, as if the sky had set itself to boil in that steadily shrinking dot. So much that we ran after it through the field, so much that the children ran after us, so much that their tongues lolled exhausted, meter and wolf, that we tormented the cows, that the steer broke the reins, so much. With parcels and new haircuts, the wings of the Peacock Road lifted us up onto the four wheels of our return. The wick of the town, smaller and smaller, down there where all the lights quickly kindled into one, and on every corner a shadow with its little light beside it, in every entryway a girl, the same flowered silhouette bent into her mop. And now the car that says, hurry up along the road, sunstruck with night jasmine, ringing bell, mist papa closing the day, leagues of hills falling into distracted step, the half-closed gate from the inside toward morning, hurry up ringing bell, and green glade and a cow, come back with the beggar weights of your eyes, with rounded owl eyes, with never looked in a mirror eyes, with closed potato eyes. The time has come for fables, mother, all in bed and the windows open to the quieted hills. Summer, a noise that keeps us from sleeping. Someone who goes and comes with the same patio echo, bumps into the hoe I left with its bite in the weeds, but goes on, goes along, gets lost for a moment and comes back caged. Our dazed steps off barefoot into the pomegranate night. Not wolf, and certainly not meter, but it looks like them. The way the wildcat looks like our sleepy cats. Someone says the word, Friday night. Pay attention with your ear, mother. Night fables. Te pido que no te intranquilices. Estoy tranquilo. ¿Es que viste alguna vez al bien y al mal separado? Las coreas a muchas leguas de la rosa. Mi juda oscilante de amor colado a su árbol, en el nodo del amor sigue colgando. Le diremos a la maleza que no suba, a la maleza que no mienta prueba en su favor y en su contra. Ayer llovió y subió el cauce del arroyo, y hoy bajó en el atardecer el álamo de frente es la luz. Yo te lo ruego, porque nadie puede disminuir el abrazo, espejo, ahora en el destiempo, el velar de madre en la lomada, con la rodilla pronta, y el morir de Dios del Hijo, en el calor de falda desde adentro. Please don't be worried, I'm not. Is it that you once saw the good and bad apart from each other, the dross many leagues from the rose? Not even love pended that Judas hung from his tree in the know of love is still hanging. Should we tell the undergrowth not to rise? The undergrowth not to plant evidence for or against itself? Yesterday it rained and the riverbed filled up, and today it went back down, and by the afternoon the poplar out front is light. I beg you, because no one can make smaller the now out-of-step mirror embrace, the mother's vigilant watch on the hill with readied knees, and the sun's dying god in the heat of her skirt from within. Thank you.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the Señal series for Latin American poetry that is, Hilary and Soledad are going to read from the third year of this series. It's our first year with a language that is not Spanish. Hilary translated from the Portuguese. We've been publishing for 3 years. We have 3 chapbooks coming out this year, and it's a series for contemporary Latin American poetry in bilingual editions that we're pretty excited about. And I wanted to let people know, if you are interested, that we are going to be having a call for submissions for the next year coming up in April, and we're looking to sort of push the boundaries of Latin America and maybe languages, and maybe not just Spanish or Portuguese, and try to get new exciting stuff. So feel free to talk to me or Silvina after the event if you're interested. And it's been a really exciting process to work with both Marília and Hilary and Soledad and Cara on this year's translations. And I wanted the last... Oh yes, and please stop by the table and buy books afterwards if you're interested. They're on sale. We have all of these and a few others of the Señal series. So this year's authors, we have Marília Garcia, who unfortunately could not make it. What?
They're just so beautiful, I had to show
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, I should mention also the series designer is a guy named Andrew Bourne. He's terrific and has been designing the series since the beginning, and hopefully will for many more years to come. So Marília Garcia is a poet from Sao Paulo, Brazil. She unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. She runs the poetry press Luna Park Editions and lives in Sao Paulo, and has several books of poetry in Portuguese. Hilary Kaplan is her translator here tonight, an award-winning translator already of Real Shake by Angélica Freitas, among other works. And the book that she's going to be reading from, The Territory Is Not the Map, about this book, Katrina Dodson, a pretty great translator in her own right, has said, Marília Garcia is among the most captivating Brazilian poets of her generation. Her geographical imagination wanders through airports and metro stations, from Rio to Berlin to Paris to Sao Paulo, across deserts in skidding cars to encounters at the bottom of the sea. Hilary Kaplan takes these points of departure to an original, daring translation, alive with poetic energy. Please welcome Hilary Kaplan.
Marília is originally from Rio. She's carioca. She lives in Sao Paulo now, and I'm saying that only because The Territory Is Not the Map is a book about voyages and journeys, and all of those particular points are important touchstones for her. Uma partida com Hilary Kaplan. Quando você diz apagar, quer dizer deixar de existir? Como é que se apaga uma pessoa? Riscar o mapa de um ponto a outro significa que é possível alterá-lo? Ou tem o mesmo sentido de apagar com uma borracha? Partida é jogo ou deixar algo para trás. Partida é simplesmente quando alguém sai, ou quer dizer que a pessoa vai embora para sempre. Quando você diz buraco no tempo, existe sentido físico relativo ao tempo e espaço? Algo como tecido em pleno movimento de ondulações. Buraco no tempo é buraco literal, rasgando o tecido. E o que você quer dizer com buraco do estádio? É algo que se vê de cima e pode ser preenchido? Ou dá uma ideia de coisa inalcançável? Como precisar do pânico das algas marinhas? É medo que alguém sente de seres aquáticos? Ou é tipo de pânico experimentado por essa categoria de vida? Qual a dimensão da palavra pânico? Se aproxima de medo, algas marinhas são seres de qual tamanho, cor, habitat? Só como uma grama no fundo do mar? Como é geograficamente a posição de frente para o estádio? Como é geograficamente olhar para os pés quando a pessoa está boiando? E quando está deitado, Qual a geração? Ao dizer violeta genciana, você se refere à cor ou à planta? Qual o sentido da palavra engano? Engano é uma fraude? Ou significa errar de direção e ao chegar ver que tudo mudou de lugar? Qual a relação do sujeito com este tipo de erro, o erro geográfico? O que são as ruas quadradas? Aqui ele sobe ou desce a rua? O que são exatamente mapas sobrepostos? Tomar o barco tem o sentido de desejo, de querer alguma coisa, ou se refere a ter entrado no barco e viajado. As ondulações ao longo da via são espécies de ondas passando e alterando o concreto, ou seriam apenas quebra-molas? Fechar um negócio é começar algo novo ou tem o sentido de falir? A departure with Hilary Kaplan. When you say erase, do you mean stop existing? How does someone erase someone else? Does wiping off the map from one point to another mean that it's possible to change it? Or does it mean to erase with an eraser? Is departure a flight of fancy or leaving something behind? Is departure simply when someone goes out, or does it mean they're going away forever? When you say a hole in time, is that in a physical sense in relation to space-time? Something like fabric that moves in broad waves? Is a hole in time a literal tear in the fabric? And what do you mean by the hole in the stadium? Is it visible from above and can it be filled in? Or do you mean a thing that can't be reached? How to define the fear of seaweed? Is it a phobia a person has of aquatic beings, or a type of fear experienced by this form of life? What are the dimensions of the word panic? Is it close to fear? Marine algae are beings of what size, color, habitat? Are they like grass at the bottom of the ocean? How spatially is the position facing the stadium? How spatially is it to look at one's feet when the person is floating? And in what direction are they looking when they are lying down? When you say gentian violet, do you mean a color or a plant? What is the meaning of the word error? Is an error fraud? Or does it mean to err in direction and on arrival see that everything has changed places? What is the relation of the subject to this type of mistake, a mistake of geography? What are streets on a grid? Is the person going up or down the grid here? What exactly is a map overlay? Does took the boat have the sense of desire, of wanting, or does it refer to having boarded the boat and sailed? Are undulations in the road a kind of wave that passes through and alters the concrete? Or are they just speed bumps? Is closing up shop to begin something new? Or does it carry a sense of dying? Le pays n'est pas la carte, she thinks, but if the streets were on a grid, she would have gone to another cafe, would have said it all differently, and seen the city from above, instead of getting lost each time she walked out of the metro. It's not unpleasant being here. It's only too real, she says, wide-eyed, looking for the map. It's not the plane skimming the surface of the water, nor the body in the half-open window, watching the lines sketched by the cars below. She says nothing, since she'd rather hatch plans in silence. And would she dream of hills? From there, she sends long letters describing the country, its earthquakes, the shape of the city. She tells me she's never surprised, but she doesn't realize that she walks around asking, is the cockpit made of plastic? Is that your voice on tape? Is that a ship on the horizon? It could just be the margin of error, but she doesn't think about this often. It could just be the open window carrying the papers away. Berlin Schönefeld Airport. I left a pair of green flip-flops with a little Brazilian flag on the strap at the Berlin Schönefeld Airport. My backpack was crammed with stories folded like neoprene trying to stand in the shape of a tent. My backpack was crammed with bad memories alongside the teas, cookies, sweets, and books that Ricky Bolt had given me at the train station. My backpack could no longer hold a pair of green flip-flops. When EasyJet told me I could not carry a bag in my hands, everything had to fit in the backpack, but it would not fit. It had been 1 degree Celsius in Berlin, so I hadn't been able to wear the green flip-flops that I left on the floor beside the cold metal bench at Schönefeld Airport. Like one who lights a fire from old letters and photos, I could have left beside the green flip-flops a portion of my memory. But at boarding time, I did not think of the fire because I was focused on the questions they were asking me at security. Do you have liquids in there? They're in a plastic bag. Would you take them out? Being carried by the moving walkway and looking at the architecture of that country, I understand they do not wish to control only liquids. You have to set type in a tray, letter by letter, and repeat the words again and again. They don't want just liquids, says the young woman at boarding. But then what do they want if we don't even speak the same language? Would you open your bag, please? Is that a keyboard? As soon as I open the backpack, the stories fall from the keyboard. A scene is drawn in hologram. They want to hear a language of vowels. As soon as I open the backpack, the stories are organized into 4 days, which could be just another superfluous book, but in it, everything is condensed into one freezing night inside a monument. The next morning, you look at the empty bookshelves, white rectangles sunk into the ground, like an abyss, she says, telling the story of the woman sitting in the backseat of the car, hair fluttering, fleeing the snow for good. In the midst of this escape, she looks back and speaks. Then you enter the scene and ask, "Who are you talking to?" And she responds, "To the spectator." When I get home and open my backpack, I remember I did not bring the green flip-flops that I never wore in Berlin. I brought only the memory of what already existed before the trip, a bothersome beam of light and the end. I left a pair of green flip-flops at Berlin Schönefeld Airport, but I should have come home facing back, leaving part of my memory on the cold metal bench. This is what I know after learning the forecast for our arrival. A shiver, and discovering there is a smell before snow falls.
And our final reader for the night is Soledad Marambio, the author of the text that she will read from, not the translator. Soledad is a poet and translator from Santiago, Chile. Currently living in Richmond and recently completed, your PhD in Latin American literature from the Graduate Center. Her translator, KT Billy, is from rural Alberta, Canada. She translates from the Icelandic and Spanish. And she is unfortunately not here tonight, but so Soledad will read in Spanish and I don't know, perhaps a little in English too. The book Chintungo also came out recently in Chile from Edicula Editions, and we have it here in a bilingual edition. And about this book, Idra Novi writes, in Soledad Marambio's poems of a barefoot world, it is the broken-shoed boy who becomes king. It is the mother who questions her child even before she has become a mother. Marambio's poems veer into subversive territory with great subtlety, and Billy's translation recreates the nuances with astonishing skill. Thank you, and welcome, Soledad.
Simeón. A mí me daba vergüenza el nombre que a él le daba vergüenza. Simón, él decía a veces. Simón, decía yo cuando me preguntaban. Pero la respuesta no era un Simón contundente. Cuando él decía Simón, cuando yo decía, aparecía un poco el sonido oculto, un poco de la persona detrás de ese sonido. pero luego se guardaba, como él se guardaba. Oyó decir a Simeón con todas sus letras, para comenzar de inmediato a contar que los niños de cuando él era niño se reían de su nombre. Que se mea, decían, y él, parece y estoy segura, se quedaba callado. Una vez su hermana quiso defenderlo de los niños que quiebran nombres. No se llama Simeón, les gritó enojada. Se llama Chintungo. La última vez que fui a Las Cruces, un viejo que leía el diario al lado de un montón de leña se acercó a nosotros y le palmeó la espalda. «Qué bueno verte, Chintungo», le dijo. Simeón. It embarrassed me, the name that embarrassed him. Simón, he sometimes said. Simón, I said when they asked me. But the answer was not a convincing Simón. When he said Simón, when I said, the dark little sound appeared, and a little of the person behind the sound. But later it hid, just like he hid. Or I would say Simeón with all his letters to start at once to tell of the children from when he was a child, how they laughed at his name. Semea, they said. This himself, and he, it seems, and I am sure, he kept quiet. Once his sister wanted to defend him against the children who twisted names. His name is not Simeón, she yelled. His name is Chintungo. The last time I went to Las Cruces, an old man reading the paper by a heap of firewood approached us and clapped him on the back. How good to see you, Chintungo, he said. Anna the First. I know what she went by, but I can't fit in her name. I know about Las Cruces, about the house on the shore. I know about the bread. I know that in her early 50s her heart stopped. I know I never asked about her. I know she gave birth to 3 kids, and that the 3 took her last name twice. Doubly hers, the 3 of them. The Chintungo libretas. 1. He writes about the bread, about meneque, threshing, a rastrer, Aunt Charo, my little sister, sea swells and a pepper. He writes a lullaby, a little waltz, some Chilean cuecas, a trot, downtown tunes. He writes, and writes. The pen well loaded, as if the pressure released the melodies that his musical friends hear in blue words. He collects stories, songs, his friends tell him. He collects stories in notebooks. 2. The letters run long off the pages, taking steps as long as his, long as the Sunday shade in Tobalaba at 5:30 in that corner of White House before the graffiti. 3. The pen doesn't turn the page, a blue jab to open each word, another to close it. The writing advances like an urgent message, long staccato strokes that nail in notebooks what Chintungo doesn't want to lose in the air. 4. I count the peaks of his signature. I try to copy it. I stick with the extended version. 16 crests in blue ink on my first ID. They seem like waves, someone said. They are mountains, I answered. La historia de alguien más. Simeón nació con la carretera que une Cartagena, Las Cruces, Algarrobo. Dice que su tío mandaba una cuadrilla que abrió la ruta a pala y picota. Antes de eso, corrían los trenes a sangre. Antes de eso, la Ana caminaba kilómetros para fregar ropas ajenas. Eran tiempos de mulas, de hermanos trabajando en un puerto que quedaba demasiado lejos. Cierro los ojos esperando ver un western aún más pobre. Pero aquí no hay caballos, sino arena y algas sucias que no ruedan con el viento. Y también estoy yo, parada en medio de todo, repitiendo bajito que siempre me dio miedo montar. Entonces aparece Chintungo, todo flaquito y sin bigote todavía, y me pregunta qué importa que me dé miedo montar. Esta película no es tuya, me dice, es mía, dice. Pero papá, alego, no, Chintungo, me llamo Chintungo. The story of someone else. Simeón was born with the highway that links Cartagena, Las Cruces, Algarrobo. He says his uncle was in charge of a gang that opened the route with pigs and pillory. Before that, ran animal drawn trains. Before that, Anna walked kilometers to wash other people's clothes. There were times of mules, of brothers working at a port always too far off. I closed my eyes, expecting to see an even poorer western, but here there are no horses, yet sand and dirty algae that won't roll with the wind. And I'm also standing in the middle of everything, repeating softly that I was always afraid of riding. Then Chintungo appears, skinny, no mustache yet, and he asks me why it matters I am afraid to ride. This isn't your film, he tells me. It's mine. But Papa, I argue. No, Chintungo. My name is Chintungo. Honeymoon. He learned to be an onlooker, a pair of eyes behind Ayashika, the lens a face to put in front of his own. Each city safeguarded in a slide, and Chintungo's handwriting recording memories in frames still waiting for the light, stacked in boxes in the top of the closet 40 years later. The Barefoot Boys. 1. The photo is burned. Little by little they come to be shadows, to be children who run on the sand. A bunch of kids without shoes chasing the one with the smallest feet, the largest ears, the fearful smile. Que se mea, he pisses himself. They shout until she comes to the railing. 2. In the world of barefoot boys, the broken-shoed one is king. 3. My father doesn't wear broken shoes anymore, but he does keep holes in his socks. Cosas perdidas. Se arrodilla Simeón sobre las lomas del patio, palita en mano, rastrillo atrás, arreglando hortensias, pensamientos, orejas de oso, y después sigue con los naranjos, los limones, los caquis y los mancaquis, guardanes viejos de los asados de domingo. 2. Antes de nosotras, eran los cerros. 3. 20 años de subir y seguir subiendo. Vi las fotos, todas las vimos, escuchamos. Ascensión al plomo, ascensión al morado, ascensión fallida al Punta Italia. También escuchamos el arriero muerto al bajar una montaña, el amigo perdido entre las grietas, los dedos congelados de Rafael Lartundo, hipotermias, nubes majestuosas. ¿Quién se habrá quedado con el saco de plumas? Supimos que fue la madre, la nuestra, quien le pidió dejar de subir. Se lo pidió antes de ser la madre, incluso un poco antes de ser la esposa. Tenía miedo de quedarse viuda, dijo. Lost Things. 1. Simeon kneels on the hills of the yard, spade in hand, rake behind, tending to hydrangeas, pansies, primroses, then continuing with the oranges, lemons, persimmons, and mancakis, guardians of the autumn cookouts. 2. Before us, there were the hills. 3. 20 years of climbing to keep climbing. I saw the photos, we all saw them, and we listened. To the ascent of Plomo, the ascent of Morado, the fell ascent of Punta Italia. We also heard about the muleteer dead at the base of a mountain, the friend lost between the cracks, the frozen toes of Rafael Lartundo, hypothermias, majestic clouds. Who was left carrying the sleeping bag? We knew it was the mother, ours, who asked him to stop climbing. She asked him before becoming a mother, even a little before she was a wife. She was afraid of being widowed, she said. Marca de nacimiento. Ya no los hacen así, dice mientras instala el proyector y nos manda a apagar luces, a sentarnos, a callarnos. Entonces aparecen los dientes, de Chintungo, de la Alconda, mis dientes, dientes grandes como firmas, diente por diente de la misma sangre. Birthmark. They don't make them like this anymore, he says while setting up the projector and sending us to turn off lights, to sit, to quiet down. Then the teeth appear, of Chintungo, of Alconda, my teeth, big as signatures, tooth for tooth of the same blood.